think I'm good to go. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to throw everyone on mute so that we don't have background noise. But of course, if you guys have anything to say, you are more than welcome to hop on or go right into the chat and type away. I love the support we have in the chat room always. You guys just rock. It's amazing. So if anybody on Facebook wants to come over, I probably should have put the link in there, but it is in the last session as well. So you can definitely find the Zoom link. It is the same one. I'm just going to get grounded. I am so excited. I have a new oil that I can get grounded with here. It's something called Shinrin Yoku. And it just fits in so perfectly with the timing right now. It's what they call a forest bathing blend. And it's amazing because it's got like fir oils and it has a little bit of grapefruit and lime kind of undertones. But it's, I talked a little bit about forest bathing in the last couple of weeks, just because it's such a powerful way to naturally boost our immune systems. Margie's got that one going on. Wow, is it incredible. And super grounding, super high frequency oil. But also one of the things I found is everybody had been out a lot and the kids were starting to feel a little bit sick. And I was like, am I getting a cold or something? I haven't had one forever. So I was using this oil, just like literally cupping it, inhaling, and it totally went away. It never even ended up surfacing into anything. And there was studies done on just going out into the forest and rubbing up against the trees and smelling them and doing a little meditation out in the forest that literally boost people's immune system for up to 2 weeks. And then they did another experiment on people in a hotel room with just essential oils, just to see if that could do the same thing. And then they did a test on them if they were doing meditating and taking the oils and using them. And it had the same exact lasting effects as being in the forest, literally for hours at a time. So I thought that was really cool because it lasted so long too. It had effect on the body's immune system for up to 2 weeks, where it was actually killing off any cells that were trying to come in and cause some disruption. So it was pretty wild. It smells so good. I've kept on forgetting to bring it down to my computer because I had it up in my diffusers and stuff. So I'm just relishing in the smell right now. Alrighty, so I am excited to talk about 11/11 portal today. We have this really big month coming up, hey? Like the new moon is happening sort of right after this 11/11 portal, and we've had this eclipse season go on. And sometimes people find that post-eclipse is actually almost more powerful than the actual eclipse season, because in the actual eclipse season, we're sort of going through it. We're really in the thick of it, and that is the thick of it is the purging and the seeing things, the figuring out which relationships are sort of on their way out, and figuring out which limiting beliefs are on their way out, which things we're ready to let go of in our life, and which things aren't working. Right? The eclipses are all about kind of bringing that balance. And then that post-eclipse season is kind of about assimilating into this new balanced state. But because we have this tumultuousness of the new moon coming up into next week, we've had a Saturn return, we have a Venus return sort of happening, we have all these different planets moving in and out, and the general theme around all of them is divine connection. Finding, when you think about 11/11, right, even those numbers, it's all about how powerful you are, but that you're going through some kind of spiritual awakening. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but everywhere around us, all you're hearing is this, like, and seeing is this spiritual awakening that's happening on a huge level. You guys have probably found this to be true as well right now, is that something has shifted. Like something shifted last week. I don't know. I know because I do group coaching, and a lot of you hear me talk about this in group. Um, this week, especially like Tuesday, Wednesday, were really profound as far as almost like timeline shifts. Like things are really shifting. If you haven't been feeling it yet, you will likely be feeling it into next week, where it's just some of that old stuff that we used to represent, that used to represent us, some of that, the old ways. They're just, something just has sort of shifted. We're seeing in people that they're going through this major shift as well. I actually even saw someone had put um, a post online the other day, and it was like, it was so profound, and it was about what did it, I wanted to pull it up so that I actually read it, because I was like, okay, it's not just me, it's like this is really happening. So someone posted this, just someone randomly that I know in the city that I live close to. So it says, there's a massive change for the better happening on the planet right now. This change won't be on the news. It hasn't gone viral. And if you don't look for it, you may not even notice it's happening. This change is quietly happening in the hearts of humanity. People are realizing that we become what we focus our attention on, and we influence this reality based on who we become. So people are realizing that fighting is senseless and focusing on the chaos is futile. Rather, people are quietly focusing on creating their version of heaven on earth. They are healing themselves and focusing on creating more beauty. People have realized that awakening to their own divinity is what protects them from manipulation and allows them to become the change that they want to see. It's sweeping through nations, but it's hard to notice. However, its strength is growing in numbers, not strength in numbers to fight. Fighting only breeds more fighting. It's strength in numbers to create such a beautiful world that it'll be obvious for others to join, to the point where one day they will hold a war and no one will want to come. The frequencies of war, greed, and manipulation will no longer be able to exist in a reality full of sovereign awakened beings, all connected to their divinity. And I was just like, oh yeah, that is so true. It's one of the ways that we're all coming into this awakening right now, but for some it's affecting us more than others. Some of us are seeing 11:11 like every bloody day. It's just showing up. It's just it's like in your face. And the cool thing, I got goosebumps right now just thinking about it. The cool thing about this 11:11, and why I'm like, it's so powerful, is that it's actually a master day too. So when you take 11:11, if you go into numerology, 11:11, 2023, you add all those up, that's another 11. That's a master day. That's um, a master portal. And this portal really is to allow us into this spiritual awakening. And a lot of us are feeling this awakening happen in different ways. It's not like one day you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm awakened, everything's perfect and can always stay that way. It's like these quantum levels, these quantum shifts, these tiny little shifts. It's all been in the perfect timing. It's all brought us to this point right now. And the last time the nodes were where they were and this master day happened was like over 9 years ago. So we can even look back to 9 years ago of looking for patterns where maybe about 9 to 10 years ago we were working towards something. We were on a bit of a timeline and may have kind of slipped off the one we wanted to be on, or maybe not made some decisions, or maybe not followed through with. So it's taking a little bit longer, but here we are again. Here we are able to actually really start manifesting what it is that we want. And a lot of us have found that there's like this little bit of clarity about something that we kind of want now. We're ready to manifest a little bit more. We're ready to shift things. We're ready to change things. And astrologically, we're really being supported to do that. The way some of the planets have been coming in have been that like last couple of months, it's been masculine action, but it's been like outward sourced masculine action. This is leading us into now this inner sourced masculine action, this listening to those little signals, listening to those little voices, listening to those times where we're like, I really don't know why I want to do this. I just really want to do it. Like it could be whatever, skydiving. It could be learning how to do beadwork. It could be learning how to sew a pillow. It could be absolutely anything, but to actually listen to that, to take action on that. And a lot of the things that I talked about this week were sort of about physically bringing in that space to be able to allow these shifts to happen. And by space, I mean creating that space with your breath. So we talked a lot about breath work this week, talked about doing somewhat of a breath work kind of, you don't have to do a ceremony. I mean, breathwork ceremonies can be done once a week, once a month, whenever you're sort of feeling called to it. But doing a little bit of breath work every day, doing, say, 5 minutes of a meditative type of somatic type of breath work to music. It's beautiful to have some beats going in the background or a song that you really like in the background. It's usually a 4-4 time. So you can be breathing in for 4, breathing out for 8, holding for 4, doing this nice sort of space type of somatic type of breath, and just allowing yourself to go through a whole song or maybe 5 minutes of just breathing. It's so powerful, and it's neutralizing. It's kind of bringing you back where we have a teeter-totter. This is kind of bringing you back to the middle of the teeter-totter so that you can actually sort of reset yourself, reset your vibration a little bit. We all hear so much about, if you're trying to manifest and you're not getting what you want, it's maybe your vibration's not right. Well, we don't have to even worry about that so much, as well as far as just being able to bring ourselves back every few hours, every few segments in time, to actually bring ourselves back to that neutral space of balance, a neutral space of clearing and creating room. And I find when we do that deep breathing, that breath work kind of thing, that we're releasing stale air from around the diaphragm. We're allowing that solar plexus to open up a little bit, where all our wishes and all our desires are, kind of create some space in there, right? So when I think, and good evening, Chris, welcome. When I think of this 1111 portal, it's like either like, you know what it's like? It's like Dorothy, she has these ruby slippers on. The whole time throughout, she's wearing them. And one of the best parts of the movie is when she comes to the realization that, that saying, "It was always within you, my dear," whatever it is, I might be butchering it. But she always had the ability to just click her heels and go back home. It was always in her. She didn't need to find one thing. She didn't need to get to Oz. She didn't need to do any of the things that she did. She could have just clicked her heels and gotten her exact wishes. And this is what this 1111 portal means to me. It's like these wishes, these desires, they've been coming more clear. We've been dialing in to what it is that we really want to create more of in our lives, what would really feel good. And post-eclipse portals are all about balance. And so now we've been kind of shown what was maybe creating a little imbalance in our lives, where we've been over sacrificing a little bit too much, where we've been overdoing a little bit too much, where we've been forcing or trying to control things. All of these ones mean that we have such divine power behind us, beside us, in front of us, carrying us, all around us all the time, that we actually get to realize that we are that divine connection, that we're not separate from it, that we're bringing our inner world and our outer world together. We're bringing our heart and our head together in coherence. And that is when you can make huge and profound shifts. Now, what's happening is this is going to be kind of a setup to the middle of January, this next 3 months, November, December, January, right till January 11th, actually. It's going to be, we were purging sort of things and outer stuff over the last few months. Now we're kind of going in and purging the inner stuff. And maybe, tell me if it's just me, but there's been some stuff coming up at night, especially when we're in that sort of theta alpha state, when we're just kind of falling into sleep. All of a sudden, things are coming into people's minds where they've just been sharing. It's just been really profound. Like, there's been some deep stuff. We've done some real root chakra opening, some real solar plexus opening in the last month or so. And so it's been pretty wild. Like there has been things surfacing that have been down for a really long time. And this can be everything from like, I've heard it all this week. It's been incredible. Everything from like people's animals that have passed away are all of a sudden visiting them in a dream where they actually, my one client was sure she was petting her dog. Like she woke up and she thought the dog was in her bed and the dog's been dead for 3 years. Like really wild. This is the spiritual awakening where at a certain point you almost think like, am I crazy? Is this really happening? But this is what's happening right now. And so when we know astrologically that all these portals are open, that this is all happening, it can kind of help us feel like we're not so crazy, like we're actually going through this for a reason, like it's meant to be. But it all had to happen in this divine timing. We had to go through these things as we are right now to really be able to move forward and have the clarity on what it is that we do truly want to create. Because I mean, face it, up until now, we're getting this law of manifestation, we're getting this law of attraction. But now it's like the law of vibration. I almost feel like I should have been teaching that one first, but you can't, because you have to feel it. You have to be there. You have to be at this state to understand what the law of vibration really does. I even saw, it was really interesting, one of the coaches online today, just the way that she actually was speaking about, you know, I've had enough talk about the whole vibration of things and the energy of things. And, you know, if you're not doing the action, and it was like so outer physical, it was like totally missing the point of, this is exactly what the point is right now, is to teach us the full gamut of how this energy really works in our world. If we can maintain that kindness, that peace, that space for ourselves, it's like discharging the gun, right? There's ammo, there's charge to emotions. This taking a few minutes every day to say, do a little bit of breath work, do a little bit of transcendental dancing, do a little bit of yoga, do a little bit of stretching, do a little bit of qigong. Spend 5 minutes a few times during the day, not just the morning and evening routines, but actually assimilating into this lifestyle of being a spiritual, connected being, you know, really walking that talk, you know, not just listening to something or but actually doing it, actually assimilating it, actually moving your body, actually getting in touch with your drink for 5 minutes, getting in touch with yourself for 5 minutes, giving yourself that space to be uncharged. Because when you think about it, this Mars energy that we have coming in, Mars and Scorpio, this new moon coming up in Scorpio, are so big. I'm going to have to kind of bleed into these, because they're this energy that's just past this portal is almost going to be kind of like explosive. There's secrets, there's things that are probably going to come out. There's sometimes even like attacks. People are they can be very confrontational. You may hear something or have something sort of thrown at you that isn't yours, that could normally affect us. This is kind of like the put your umbrella up, because there's going to be a little bit of a shitstorm going on. Just the energies that we know that are happening in the field right now, kind of like up to the 21st, even until the actual change. Scorpio season is here to teach us how to grow, and growing can sometimes be uncomfortable, right? It's unknown. This is why we go back to our old patterns. This is why we get sort of stuck in that comfort. This is why we repeat those things, because the new can be very uncomfortable. It's something we haven't been to before. So some of the things that are coming up for people are like old stuff that you either think that you had already dealt with, or that you had completely forgotten and maybe not even known about anymore. Maybe things that, like old conversations that you had with people that you're like, I didn't even realize that was still in my field. I didn't even think that I had any more work to do around that. But it's coming up so that we can be able to actually see this. There's actually been some big stuff moving with the root chakra. There's been a lot of sexual trauma that's come up for people. There's been a lot of fear trauma that's come up for people. And there's been a lot of trust trauma. Whew, those are big emotions. Those are big feelings. Those are big things that people have been going through lately. And so some of this stuff they've actually forgotten about, not realized how much it was affecting them, had packed it down so firmly, they thought maybe it would never come up again. Yet here it is this week, coming up at the most odd times. And so it's so important that we give ourselves space this next week to work through some of this stuff, to be able to be in a grounded state, to be able to calibrate down to that 0 point, down to that middle point on our seesaw, so that we can sort of go either way, that we can actually be really balanced. So we're not just being tossed about by someone else's weight on the other end of the stick, right? Like really kind of coming back to ground zero. And that's why I feel like it's so important to kind of know that default point that we have. So it's kind of all about assimilating and not say going into catastrophization about it, or not having temper tantrums, like, because it'll be easy to just react to some of these things that are happening because of this Scorpio energy, because of this new moon coming in. The new moon is very powerful this year, but it's almost like, because it's so purgy, due to Scorpio shedding its shell to grow, having these things sort of underneath the surface, birth and rebirth. And so many people have been passing away lately. I don't know if you guys have noticed this too in your fields as well, but just so, like, it's no joke when we look at astrologically what's going on, and the death and rebirth. Like, there are people that are awakening, and then there are people that are turning around and taking their lives because they simply can't see any other way. They feel so stuck because this energy is so intense, as well as people just going through the rhythms of life. And we won't get into some of the things that are causing perhaps more deaths than not, but it's happening on a large scale, So people are having to, it's almost like you're thrown into this rebirthing process, whether you want to be or not. We're getting these like life or death experiences because so many people are transitioning around us, and it's making us look at things, and it brings up things, and it brings up anniversaries of things, right? And it's been so wild that this rebirthing is happening one way or the other. I guess I want to have us allow this process to happen. I want us to really be prepared for any kind of conflict, prepared for any kind of healing, prepared for any kind of, like, be protecting your energy level, really noticing where you've been overdoing it. This time is all about kind of shedding those things where it's like, we can finally think, what's in it for me? How does this work out for me? Or am I just doing this because I always did this, right? It's time to be a little bit selfish, to put yourself first, because when that happens, it enables you to sort of show others. And for a lot of us, we're starseeds, we are light workers, we're out there to sort of change the world, to have people understand the information that we have ready to share. There's a calling per se, and that's almost from that post that I shared. There's so many people that are going through this together right now, that we literally are feeding this group of love and of peace, and it's just raising that frequency in the world even more. So this is external. What can we do to internally raise that peace feeling, raise that love feeling, just knowing that this new moon is going to kind of amplify any of the things that we're ready to manifest. So when we can really dial that in and we can really stay focused, it's like magic can be unleashed, right? It's all about this rebirth, these new beginnings, and holding faith and trusting. It's like finally being able to trust that not only does the universe have our backs, the universe is ready and waiting, and we've ordered this Amazon package, and as long as we actually go home and receive it, it'll be there. Instead, a lot of people are looking out their window and going, well, Jane across the street just got her package. I wonder when she ordered it. And well, she just got her package. And well, they didn't even order a package and their one has shown up. I wonder if that's my package. And meanwhile, yours is either ready to be delivered and you're out sort of scooting around the town looking at everybody else's packages, or we've even canceled the order. We've changed our mind. We're not even sure that we want it. We're never home to pick it up. We're too busy. So think about that and what it is that, you're sort of ready to, that you've ordered, that you probably ordered. We're purging this last year and a half. This is the closing of a chapter of about a year and a half. So, what are those things in the last year and a half that have been stopping you? For a lot of us, it's been fear. It's been fear, and that fear is ready to be healed. And fear basically usually comes from a trauma from something. And so these are those traumas that are kind of showing us that they're ready to be healed and that they're ready to be felt. It's like we have this blueprint that runs through us. I almost see like different colors when I think of a blueprint that runs through us. And this blueprint is kind of ready for that upgrade that we've been working towards, that we're feeling, that we've literally been sculpting, and knowing what that is that we're sculpting in our life, knowing that we have the power, is the power of the 1111 portal, the power of all those ones, knowing that we can sculpt something, that we actually have permission to enjoy our life, to be happy in life, to have what it is that we want in life. And for a lot of people, this awakening is truly this connection, this understanding, this body, mind, soul connection, but also this spiritual connection, bringing in all of those 4 pillars to really create this balance in our life. This, I'm not giving away all my time anymore. I'm not giving away all my resources anymore. I'm not giving away all my love anymore. I'm holding on to some of it for myself. I'm feeling some of it myself. This is a lot of chakra healing, a lot of cord cutting, a lot of clearing in the fields. And the spiritual awakening that I keep talking about is prevalent in almost every single planetary alignment that we have going on right now. So this is like, I keep getting goosebumps. This is like one of the most profound times for people to start tapping into some of their gifts, like whether you're a clairvoyant or whether you've maybe wanted to do channeling, or light language has been speaking to you, or astrology has been speaking to you, or whatever it is. These little snippets are going to give you that enlightenment, to bring you to that next stage, to give you more faith, to give you more trust that this is all the divine working towards us learning how to stay connected, how to be connected. I talked a little bit about the different churches and things like that when I was away in the Caribbean, and how they would just get taken over by spirit. This is kind of the sort of stuff that's going to be happening right now. You're going to feel maybe taken over by spirit. You're going to have maybe images run through your head. You may have a meditation that is just that much more profound than others, and so it's not startling to you. Know that this is meant to be happening right now, and this is one of the most profound times to be able to kind of really tap into more of your gifts, more of your connections, more of your listening skills, more of your listening abilities. And how do we do that? By tuning in to what it is our body needs. Maybe it's resting. You may need some rest over this next week. Normally we beat ourselves up if we're resting too much. It's like, oh, I got too much to do. but what do you have to give if you're exhausted, right? And you're pushing through. We always want to control things so much because we're used to controlling things. Got to have that control. I can't let control go. This is where we almost learn that we must let that control go, that we must trust that the universe has this all lined up for us, that our vibrations, if they're set in a state of fear or anger or even desire, where we start to create that gap a little bit, that is going to be the vibration. This is the law of vibration that keeps us stuck. If we can just go into acceptance, adaptability. Oh, this week has been all about learning how to be adaptable, like to be able to actually shift on a dime, or when you're in a situation and go from like feeling like you're being attacked and sort of spewing back to maybe this is for the absolute best and highest good, to really be adaptable. Like maybe there's something more or bigger at play here, to really be adaptable. And maybe I'm trying to be shown something or told something. Maybe I should look at this. Maybe I could take just a little accountability and look at my role in this and how I can either create and support and help solve, or how I can help drag it down into problem orientation and really, have these sort of volcanic eruption type of conversations with people that we don't want to go to. So that relinquishing of control, that relinquishing of power. I even spoke about perhaps using a God box, where you actually take, I had one of my clients this week, I was like, just use the garbage can as a God box. Cause he was like, I want to make a box, and like, just use the garbage can, make these notes, write things down. What are your desires? What are your things that you're ready to just kind of hand over? What are your worries? What are the things that are pressing on your mind? What are those things that if you could just let go and let God, that you would just write down on a piece of paper? And then, we say in a new moon type thing, or full moon, go burn it or bury it or put it in the God box, put it in, have a little ornate box of some sort, stick it in there and just allow God to have that, to take it, to literally trust and have faith that it's all going to work out exactly as it's supposed to. It's a beautiful way to actually physically allow your subconscious to kind of let things go. So this kind of teaches us to respond in trust and in faith and in love, versus responding in fear, those lower vibrations. It's like keeping that law of vibration in mind, not because something is going to happen, because we want to create the best and highest outcome. We want to have a peaceful, happy life. Most of the time we want to be happy, not necessarily want to be right. And this is one of those times where we get to choose. Do we want to be happy, or do we want to be right? And so what I want to do tonight is bring us through a little bit of a meditation. It's going to be a meditation / recode. And so if anyone hasn't done a recode before, what I do is I talk to our superconscious field, which is kind of like almost like a spiritual field, but it's where all of the information is. So all of these little things that are ready to be coming up and to be healed and to be moved through, they're all in this field. So it's just like a super highway of information. And so I kind of talk to this superconscious field where I'll say that word. And we can give this the superconscious mind, the subconscious mind commands that sort of get it in line with the conscious mind. And it allows us to literally rewire some of these neural pathways that have been set up as old patterns and as old beliefs. And it teaches our unconscious mind what we're ready to let go of and what we're ready to shift through. And so I feel like at this point in time, we almost need to learn to trust ourselves, as well as learning that we don't always need other people's external validation. We do have these answers inside of us. We do have this ability to move to that next level. And this is what awakening is all about. It's not about completely being a different person. It's more becoming who you were, who you used to be, who your true authentic self is. And and bringing some of these parts that haven't been seen for years, have maybe been packed down, have maybe been in hiding. These parts are kind of coming forward now to move together as a whole person and really change the frequency of the world, to really increase the love, to increase the peace. And you can keep going after we finish here tonight in sending love and peace out to the world right now. You know, like we're a small little blob in this group that we're in, but we can have big impact with sending out more healing energy just together, because there's a lot of people doing that, praying for peace and harmony right now in the world. And I think everybody can sort of utilize that. But this full moon that's going to be coming up at the end of the month, that's switching us into Gemini, and that's going to be a really profound one too, where the emotions are going to be a little bit intense. And so getting really dialed in on the things that are going to support us properly moving through this month as things shift and as things change, I feel is going to be key in assimilating into. I keep talking this week about almost being like a caterpillar that's crawled into the chrysalis, and then it has to actually like be goo. It has to be messy. It has to, it's like we're lost, right? We're a lot of people are feeling a little bit lost or depressed even, or stuck. It's like been sort of moving through molasses. And this shift coming into next week is all of a sudden going to feel like, whew, because of even Saturn moving forward again, we're going to feel like we're actually moving forward with things, that we're not just kind of in this sort of cobweb of goo. And if we're not lost, we can't be found, right? So it's like, it's been a very profound time of getting a little bit lost, getting a little bit in touch with parts that we never even knew we had. I've heard of people even this week saying like, I didn't even know I had that in me. Like, I didn't know I could sob that much. I didn't know I could laugh that much. I didn't know I could make that noise. I didn't know they've been doing some breath work. They've been doing some creating some space, and some stuff is moving through that we didn't even know was in there. So allow yourself to even, go download Wim Hof's app. It's free. It teaches you exactly when and how to do it. It has a timer. Or stand in the shower after you've had a nice hot shower and blast it cold and just go for as long as you can stand there in the cold water. Challenge yourself a little bit and then move out of your comfortable zone into that uncomfortable zone a little bit, and start doing things that will be maybe slightly different than what you've done. But this will allow you to discharge those guns, uncharge the emotions, feel grounded moving in, and just feel good kind of going into this next level. So I'd love for you guys to be able to just get into a comfortable space, and we are going to just sit with our eyes closed, however that may feel for you, wherever you are the most comfortable. I feel like there's going to be more recode than meditation for some reason, because there's a lot of resistance and stuff that's come up just kind of like on that secret level. There's things that are sort of brimming at the surface that feel kind of big. So I'm going to just go ahead and shoot you guys some energy work as you get comfortable and get into a place where you can close your eyes. And I'd love it if you could just do a few reducing breaths with me, and where we take that breath and we hold it at the bottom and just allow that energy to kind of expand through our root chakra and through our bodies. So when you're ready, we're going to take a nice deep breath in for 4 through the nose. And then as we breathe out, we're going to breathe out longer than we breathe in. So we're going to breathe out for about 8 seconds. And then we're going to hold it for about 6 to 8 seconds, however feels good for you. Sometimes it's tougher at night than it is in the mornings to do those breath holds and do those breathing really deeply sort of things, because our energy is already kind of packed in that area. So just to clean and clear it out, just take a few nice deep breaths, getting in connection, and breathing in for 4 and breathing out for about 8 through your mouth, pushing out that air at the very end And then holding your breath, holding that space, feeling the energy expand through your body as it just starts to incorporate into every cell. Feeling almost as though that energy is expanding down into your legs as it's opening up those channels. And continue breathing like this if you can in the reduced breathing way. So in for 4, out for 6 to 8, and holding for 6 to 8. And then just naturally breathing in again. Channeling that energy going down into the legs and feeling as it expands all the way down to your toes, all the way down to your feet. Allowing those roots to start to open up and start to expand into the earth's energy, tapping into Mother Gaia's blueprints, the upgrades. I'm ready to just tap into those, anything that the beautiful energy of Mother Gaia has been holding in love for us is ready to start streaming in, like our roots are just drinking it up. And just imagine that energy, those beautiful new blueprints and downloads starting to be drank up and infused into your cells, into the cells of your feet and your ankles and your calves, feeling almost like warm buzzing energy starting to reconfigure some of these blueprints. And imagine it as colors starting to move like veins through the blueprint of your body, through the blueprint of your soul. And just imagine this moving up through your knees and through your thighs, rewiring, reworking, recalibrating, reprinting these blueprints on this awakened state, this awakened torsion that we're in. Allowing the hips and the pelvic floor to start being rewired, recalibrated. And imagine the blueprint that you had slowly changing colors, like you can see new colors starting to infuse into the lines of the blueprints in and around your pelvis, in and around those traumas that have happened, in and around those times where your trust was taken away, where you trusted someone, where you were vulnerable, where you were open, where you were dishonored. Anything, any pieces of you that were given away unintentionally, and allowing these blueprints to simply be recalibrated with Earth's beautiful energy. And just breathing normally, I want you to imagine this energy start to move through your lower back and through your lower abdomen, where all these fears settle in, the fears around money, those fears of things that you may be fearing so badly that you're unintentionally manifesting things that are not in your greatest and highest timeline. And allowing the energy to start moving all the way up from the roots, all the way through the legs, this new blueprint to be printed out like a 3D printer, starting to print in your low back, your pelvis, your lower abdomen. Allowing this energy, these colors, this rewiring, this reworking of your blueprint to start taking over throughout your fear centers, throughout that huge nerve plexus in your low back, where we carry so much of those dense stories, those stories we were told as kids, how you have to work so hard. Any of these limitations, and superconscious, please tag and treat anything down in the root and sacral chakra, holding us back from what we truly want to create in our lives. And just feeling that rewiring, those waves of energy start to move through the root and the sacral plexus as those blueprints start to be reprinted into our highest timeline, into our abundant self, into that higher vibration. And as you breathe in, I want you to feel love being breathed into your body as it starts to expand into that solar plexus. It starts to expand into that inner child, into that inner wounded child, those parts of us that are locked away with those inner wishes and desires and those secrets that we're ready to unfold. those secrets that we're ready to see, those true desires. Unlocking that faith that this is the time of our lives, that we are creating every moment to exactly where we're supposed to be. Having faith that the best is yet to come, having faith that it's all going to work out, having that self-love, that self-honoring, knowing that we're not going to let ourselves repeat past patterns anymore that aren't working for us. Some of them just simply aren't serving anymore. Some of them are the feeling bad, the not feeling worthy. Superconscious, please tag all these limiting beliefs, these beliefs that are settled in and heavy in that solar plexus and that heart chakra. The ones that we don't have permission, we're not allowed. We're not allowed to just be happy. We've been told that. Just tagging and treating all of the stories, all of the beliefs, superconscious. The who are we to be doing it? You're not capable. You don't know enough. Tagging and treating all of those emotions, all of those beliefs, doing a massive change history on those. Tagging and treating some of those traumas that have been living so deeply down in those energy centers, those lower 3 energy centers, just tagging any of those traumas, treating them in the field and doing a massive change history on any of these traumas that are needed to be rewritten. Knowing none of them were your fault, knowing none of them were anything that you did wrong, reconceptualizing, reperceptualizing, retaining the wisdom of how strong you are, how you can help others, and truly recognizing now what it is that you're wanting to create. As you start to climb up into the heart chakra, as you start to allow this blueprint to be rewritten up into your heart chakra, tagging and treating any of that resistance around the heart, the energy center, treating all old vows, all broken promises, all contracts, tagging and treating all of those contracts causing resistance into just creating this life that we just love, this heart expansion, this ability to love, to be vulnerable, to trust again, to share our hearts, to give a piece of that to someone again. Utilizing this energy around the 1111 portal, all about intimacy, all about relationship, all about money, and all about control. Where can we rewrite our blueprints around how we control things? Allow those colors to just start dissipating and infusing through the blueprint as you watch those colors start to rewire where you used to feel like you had to control things, and now you're ready to let go and believe that everything is meant to be, and look for and enjoy those synchronicities when they come in and hear them. Notice where around money you could rewire that blueprint. Just allow, you don't need to know, you don't need to have the answers. Just allow those colors to start being shown to you. Start seeing your blueprint be rewritten around your heart chakra, allowing that in, actually allowing yourself to have that money, that abundance, that truth, that intimacy, that harmony. And allow that blueprint, that gorgeous blueprint, to start recoloring itself, recalibrating, noticing it just moving through your arms, your forearms, your fingers, Like that blueprint is rewriting and rewritten your whole body as it starts to move up around the throat chakras. You start to expand into speaking your truth, not being harsh, not being mean, not being kind to yourself, to others, and just allowing and tagging and treating anything in and around the throat chakra. Just going to hold the heart. I feel a little bit of aching and denseness around that heart chakra right now. And this energy at this time is about purging this dense energy from the body, allowing it to dissipate, allowing those roots to draw that out of your body right back down into Mother Earth. Any expired information, any old information that's just not serving anymore can simply be dissipated from the body, released as the new blueprint starts to flourish, starts to fill with color, starts to almost like little robots just going through and rewriting the whole blueprint. Rewriting that energy around the throat chakra, allowing you to really speak your truth, to connect with that, to be so grounded on a daily basis, to be so assimilated, to have these butterfly wings growing and learning how to fly with them. Allowing yourself to really expand into this beautiful metamorphosized butterfly. Feeling that butterfly in your throat, seeing it on either side of your neck, just opening up. Covering it in butterfly dust, creating peace and harmony with every word. But being able to stand up for yourself at the same time, being your voice, standing up for yourself like you would for a little child, for a little inner child. Allow that to move up through your jaw and your face and into the third eye, where you can actually finally see this vision of what it is that you're wanting to create more of in your life. What are you ready for? Are you ready for intimacy? Are you ready for abundance? Are you ready for things to feel more in control than they ever have as you let go of trying to control every moment? Treating any resistance in and around opening the third eye and allowing this beautiful light, this beautiful blueprint to come all the way up to the crown chakra, where it's finally going in and imprinting around the crown, imprinting around the divine connection, the spiritual awakening, the connection that you are ready for, that you are ready to see, the trust, the faith in God and the universe. Allowing your crown chakra to now open, to now rewire, allowing that blueprint to embrace the colors that are moving through it, just noticing what you notice. Rewriting our divine intuition, our channels, whatever it is that we're ready to see, to feel, to hear, to taste. Allowing that energy to move through all the way up to your head. And I want you to get back to your breath right now. Taking a nice deep breath in for 4. Taking a nice deep breath out for 4. Taking a nice deep breath in for 4. And now holding it at the top of that breath. And imagine that energy expanding up into your crown, into your third eye, expanding into your head. Feel that energy expanding, those cells expanding, those beautiful little robots going in and rewriting all of the blueprints of the crown chakra. And superconscious, please go through and tag any more resistance in and around the crown and the third eye, doing a massive change history. And breathing out and just breathing normally now. Connecting with your breath as you feel it expand in your belly as you breathe in, and feeling your whole body relax even more as you're breathing out. I want you to really bring into vision just one thing that you're ready to create more of in your life. Whether it's more balance, more peace, more harmony, I want you to ask for an action step to bring you towards that. It may well be the breath work this month. It may well be the movement. What are you ready to commit to? What's something you could do today or tonight to dial that in? Something that just feels good to want to do every day, moving forward, this divine connection, these divine answers. Superconscious, please tagging and treating any identities, losing any identities, any of those old identities that we've been told that we were so much that we still tend to exhibit when we're around certain people, how we're ready to let these go, tagging and treating all of that. Tagging and treating something around support, not feeling that support, feeling that in your spine, in the mid-spine. Just send some energy into that area. Let's rewrite that I don't have the support. Tagging and treating that in the field and doing a massive change history around I don't have enough support. Knowing you do have the support, you have this group, you have these beautiful people around you in this circle. You have the beautiful people collectively awakening right now who you are going to connect with even more. Tagging and treating any body systems holding on to any more dense energy as we continue to purge this denseness, this old dense energy, allowing anything else to surface right now that needs to be moved through the body in just a gentle way. Tagging and treating any body systems, musculoskeletal, kidneys, lungs, heart, blood systems, lymphatics, digestion, hormone levels, cortisol levels, just recalibrating the system right now, out of fight or flight into parasympathetic nervous system. Doing a massive change history on all body systems, all identities, all beliefs, contracts, and parts. Allowing all of these parts to integrate into our whole self once again. Who we really are, who we're meant to be, who we're ready to be. Feel how it would feel to already be living like that. Feel how it would feel to just feel peaceful and happy and calm and abundant and excited for every moment and living in the moment and feeling and knowing as though everything is meant for you. Grounding all of this into the matrix of the universe and into memories and timelines in 1, 2, and 3. Doing a massive super record on anything else that needs it tonight. Into past, present, and future timelines. And with that new blueprint operational, fully colored, charging through your veins or in your energy field right now, you can take a nice receiving breath and come on back whenever you're ready. Wow. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I'm going to turn off Facebook Live. So thanks so much, Facebook World, and everybody for being here. I'm sending you huge love. It's a big week coming up. Next week, I'll have another meditation and webinar on Friday night. The following one I won't be on, but I am sending you guys just the hugest love. I hope you have a wonderful 11/11 portal and a wonderful new moon. And I'll be talking a little bit more on Wednesday about new moon rituals, but I know I've talked to you guys about that before. It's all about what we're going to bring in. So be ready. And if you need anything, just reach out.